I really loathe sitting in the shade, and I really don't like getting cold when I'm doing it. Actually, I think it's reasonable once drawings are less good, so I quite often compromise the view quite a lot by making sure I've got a nice sunny corner. I haven't really got much of a routine. I wish I did. Good, clever and efficient people have really good routines, but I basically scrape the dogs off my bed, get out of the bed, go out, wander around the garden for a bit, and then get myself into work. I'm really lucky. I've got an incredibly nice studio here with loads of room and loads of room for the mess, and during the course of a week I can build up the most extraordinary compost heap of watercolour paper and old books and bits and bobs. When I was about 14, a friend of my godmother died, and my godmother gave me a ream, 20 sheets or whatever, of rather wonderful watercolour paper, and I took a few sheets back to school and realised that using watercolour on this really wonderful paper, whatever you did was going to look good. I think watercolour is like stained glass. It's lit from behind. Basically, the whiteness of the paper you're working on shines through the colour and gives it its life. And I think that that's why I like watercolour. I think there's a liveliness to it and a brightness to it, and that and a sort of glowing that comes through the pigment. The first book that I illustrated, called The Village Buildings of Britain, about cottages and farmhouses and barns. I've always been very interested in vernacular building, and building that's produced without architects. Drawing them makes you look at them differently. And I suppose in a way it sharpens your eye and makes you pay attention. I think that I am moderately accurate in the way I draw things. I try to be, definitely. Sometimes one uses a bit of shorthand in the way you express detail, or sometimes you leave things out in order to get the point of it. I think sometimes you can see a feature of the building that's not very important, and you can indicate it so that you're not being untruthful, but you can knock it down the hierarchy of what you're looking at there, and you can focus a bit more on the things that matter. I think that's one of the great advantages of drawing buildings than photographing them, is they may be less, nominally less accurate, but you can let the thing that you believe is most important sing a little bit more loudly. It's very, very hard to know when to stop. There are certain kind of things which I do now know, which is there's no point in colouring in late at night when the colours are going to look really drab because you can't see the light, or if you've run out of the right pen or pencil. There are kind of practical reasons why you might stop. It's definitely true that things can get overworked, but I am not someone who's inclined towards that. I'm probably inclined to stop too soon, not too long. There's a sort of problem always, I think, that you can do a rough design or a rough drawing for something where there is a sort of excitement and some degree of sort of dynamic tension to it, which when you do it really carefully later, you can lose that, I think. I definitely, for example, don't draw from photographs. I think photographs are really useful, but I think that there is something about converting 3 dimensions into 2 on the spot with your eyes and your brain that gives the pictures their quality.